that I would have the opportunity to speak at this, the 70th anniversary year of the Economic Club. I have enjoyed the last 11 months in Washington, but it is kind of nice to get out of the Beltway, as they say, on occasion. There are times, however, when I do identify with the words of the 19th century American humorist Artemus Ward when he said, "It is easy enough to see why a man may go to the penitentiary or the poorhouse. It's because he can't help it. But why he should voluntarily go and live in Washington is entirely beyond my comprehension." That is a sentiment that Rich sometimes expresses. During my 11 months as Secretary of Commerce, many people have said how proud my father would be to see one of his sons follow in his footsteps and be the mayor of the greatest city in the world, and another have the privilege of being in the president's cabinet. It's kind of funny, as different as those jobs may seem to be, I couldn't help but think of some of the similarities when I looked at some of the activities which Rich has been doing over the last month. He's spoken at a reception for the Arab American Heritage Month, put out a handbook for immigration for Hispanics, and named the street after Mother Teresa. During the same period as Secretary of Commerce, I've had the honor of walking the streets of Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, visiting 4 Latin American countries, and laying a wreath at the grave of Mother Teresa last week in Calcutta. So I guess it's rather obvious that I'm still following his lead, piggybacking on his ideas, and still having to do whatever he does and go wherever he goes. But there may be a little more to it, to be very honest with you. We do have 2 very different jobs, and yet there are parallels in our schedules. And it seems to me that this says something not just about the globalization which is taking place in our economy, but how our own culture and diversity here in the city of Chicago is a tremendous asset as we compete in this new global world. Tonight I'd like to talk about what we call the new economy. The new economy is one where tough competition doesn't come from down the street. It comes from companies halfway around the world. In the new economy, technology and innovation are moving faster than ever before. And we must harness them to create growth and opportunities for all of our people. In the new economy, we have to constantly develop more human capital, building a workforce with world-class knowledge and skills that can compete in this global marketplace and keep pace with innovation. Global trade, technological progress, and human capital, those are the 3 pillars of this new economy. Adapting to them, mastering them, doing better at that than anyone else is how we will take this great country into the next century. The first thing we have to understand about the new economy is that it is truly a global economy. Our president recognizes this and understands how to turn it to all of our benefit. Exports have accounted for over 1/3 of our economic growth over the last 4 years. And Chicago is the Michael Jordan of exporting, for our exports here have grown by over 50% over the same period. The trade numbers for the month of October, which were just released today, are very encouraging. Our exports of both goods and services hit record highs in October, and our overall trade deficit dropped by about 10% from September. But we cannot afford to become complacent based upon a single month of good news. To keep our economy strong, we must continue to open foreign markets, monitor compliance with the trade agreements which we have already reached, and actively promote our products abroad. And it was the federal government 20 years ago that pumped money into the computer system that eventually has blossomed into the Internet. And now the Internet is fast becoming a powerful commercial vehicle. In 5 years, the value of goods and services which will be exchanged electronically will grow by over 4,000%. And the Commerce Department is leading the way within the Clinton administration to promote the growth of this emerging digital marketplace. When we think about technological progress, we have to understand that it is something that happens in every aspect of business, not just in the development of new product. Innovation doesn't always have to take a physical form. Innovation is about integrating new processes and adapting best business practices to help improve quality and cut costs. It's about reorganizing workforces or adopting new financing or marketing strategies. And that's why the Commerce Department also coordinates the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program, which is a network of regional centers that helps small manufacturers turn new technologies and business practices into increased growth and opportunities. The Chicago affiliate is particularly active with 6 offices around this region. No matter what country I've had the pleasure in visiting, or what minister or head of state I've been honored to meet with, I relive every day some lessons which I learned at home. The main lesson that public service is about building a better future for those who we are honored to represent. Not a day goes by that I don't think about my father, about how he helped to build this great city. Yes, there were expressways and there were skyways. You could point to all of them. But he made his mark by building long-term relationships, starting in the neighborhoods, and also starting with the business community. He was loyal, and you were loyal to him. And my brother can also point to improving the quality of life that he has brought to this great city, from improving our schools, to cleaning our streets, to making our neighborhoods safer, to making Chicago, well, just Chicago. Washington, of course, is no Chicago. It's basically a one-company town. The company is government and politics, and it doesn't even have a baseball team. And for one who grew up 4 blocks from Comiskey Park, I can't believe you have to drive an hour to go to a ball game. There's also a certain rootlessness in Washington. People are constantly moving on, leaving town. Their relationships are fleeting and transient. Still, I hope that I'm making an important contribution by advocating on behalf of American businesses. I'm trying to help the American people be stronger and more competitive. And by doing that, helping to build a better future, just as my father did and just as my brother does. It's remarkable to see all the elements of this new economy come together. When I was in Rio de Janeiro, I saw Xerox had adopted a school, and they brought computers to every one of the classrooms. Here was a great American company penetrating global markets because it must in the new economy. Here was a company integrating technology as it must in the new economy, and doing it through education by building human capital as it must in this new economy. And so when I come home and people ask me how come I'm putting so many miles on my frequent flyer card, I say it's to try to help to build a better future in our neighborhoods that have gotten a little bigger, even as our world has grown a little smaller. Thank you very much for this pleasure and this honor. Thank you.